During one of my recent online classes, someone asked the question, why is your design space so fast? There are many reasons my computer performance is faster than most people would expect, especially with design space. First, I'm a computer professional and I've worked in IT for more than 20 years, so I'm very discretionary about what software I install on my computer. I do not install games or anything that is not needed for me to use my computer. I used to tell my business clients, if you don't need it for your business, you don't need it on your computer. And we stick to those strict guidelines, and I treat my computer like it is my business. So I generally do not have those issues of malware, adware, and other things that cause performance issues on a computer. However, I'm going to go over several things with you that can help you and help your design space be more stable and run faster. We'll begin by talking about the system requirements for design space and the Cricut Explorer line of products. The existing requirements at the time of this video are for Windows 7 or Windows 8. I know some folks are using Windows Vista, and I've even been told that there are people using Windows XP as well. And when you purchased your product, perhaps a year ago or more, you may have looked at the requirements on the box, and they are less requirements than what is shown on the website now. That's because of the evolution of software. If we do not upgrade software, which inherently requires newer computers and newer operating systems, then you will never get additional fixes and additional features and improvements. You will be living in the past. So if you're using Windows XP or Windows Vista, you shouldn't be. You should be using at least Windows 7 by now. Windows Vista was one of the worst operating systems ever released for stability and performance issues. Windows XP is 13 years old, so I don't even need to say anything more about that. When it comes to the hardware and the processor requirements, this is a little bit of a misleading requirement considering you have to have Windows 7 and Windows 8, so I want to address this. There are a lot of posts that say you have to have a 2.33 gigahertz or higher processor. That is not entirely true. It says a Pentium 4 2.33 gigahertz processor or equivalent. If you're using a Pentium 4 processor, you're not running Windows 7 or 8 because that's like 15 years old. Because of the evolution of processors and technology, a Pentium 4 processor running at 2.33 gigahertz will not hold a candle to an Intel i3 that is a modern processor running at even 1.7 gigahertz. If performance is here on a Pentium 4, on an i3 it's going to be here even though the speed of the processor says it's slower. So do not use that Pentium 4 processor as a guideline because you cannot buy one today unless you're buying a 15-year-old computer. What I tell folks is search for a computer that has at least 4 gigabytes of RAM or more, preferably 6 or 8 gigabytes. If you look for those specifications, the 4 gigabytes of RAM or more, buy as much as you can afford on the computer, and all your other specifications will usually fall into place. If you're looking at a $200 laptop at Walmart that has 2 gigabytes of RAM, chances are the processor and the overall laptop is going to be very, very slow, and you're not going to be able to use it properly. You're not going to be happy with it. So if you're buying a new computer, you're probably going to spend at least $400 or $500 on it or more. Spend as much as you can afford on that. If there's one place I'd say you need to spend the extra $100 or $200 that you're on the fence about, it is on your computer. There's no reason to buy a $300 computer and try to save $200 so that you can use that money to then go buy an application like Adobe Photoshop or something, because once you get the application, it's not going to perform well on the computer. Spend your money on the hardware and then save up to buy the additional software you want or need if that's what you need to do. The next topic I'll discuss are toolbars that may be installed on your computer and running with your internet browser. If you notice, I am using the default toolbar in Firefox, and in Chrome I do the same thing. I use the built-in bookmarks toolbar. If you have toolbars installed such as Bing Search Toolbar, Google Toolbar, Yahoo Toolbar, Search Toolbar, Ask Search Toolbar, Coupon Printer Toolbar, Any of those third-party add-ons in your browser, I've seen some of them be like 2-3 inches down the screen on computers where folks have installed multiple toolbars on their computer from downloading software on the internet. Those can even contain malware and adware as well. So remove all those third-party toolbars. You do not need them, and they only hurt your performance and can cause conflicts with your internet browser. To remove any of these third-party toolbars, you can usually click your Start button, go to Control Panel, go to Programs and Features, right-click on the software that you want to uninstall, and click Uninstall or Change. The next thing you'll want to check are your browser plugins. In Chrome, you can put this address in the address bar, and you will see all your plugins that are installed in your Chrome browser. For your Cricket plugin, you should have this box checked that says Always Allowed to Run. You should have the same thing for your Shockwave Flash player as well. And you should look for any other plugins that may be problematic or you do not need. Generally, most systems will have an average of between about 5 to 15 plugins. You can see that I have 10. So you can go down through your plugins and look for things that may raise an eyebrow or be recognized as part of a third-party toolbar or something and remove that plugin as well, or just disable it. You can also put this address in to check your extensions that are installed in Google Chrome. Extensions are similar to plugins, only they're more application-centric add-ons, and you can enable or disable those or delete them here as well. In Firefox, click on these three little bars and then go to your add-ons, and you can check the same information regarding your plugins and extensions here, and you can choose to always activate to allow things to always run. One of the things you'll want to look for are the number of icons that are running in your system tray next to your clock in the bottom right hand corner. By default on Windows, you have to click this little arrow to see everything that's running. I like to click Customize and select Always Show All Icons so I can always see what's running in my system tray. Most systems will have anywhere from 5 to 10 icons in this area. If you get above 7 or 8, you're probably running too many programs in the background and you may need to exit some of them or uninstall the software. Sometimes you can right click on the icon and go to its options and tell it not to start with Windows. Other times you may have to go into Control Panel, as I demonstrated earlier, to uninstall unneeded or unwanted software to remove these. Having too many applications running in your system tray can and usually will cause system performance issues. Windows updates should also be installed and up to date. Sometimes you may see an icon in the system tray saying that Windows updates are pending installation or you're pending a restart. A lot of times, if you see that icon, it can cause system performance issues and conflict with applications until they are installed and a reboot is performed. I recommend that everyone go into Control Panel and go to their Windows updates and see if they have any pending Windows updates. You can change your settings to install your updates automatically. I prefer to let it download the updates and let me choose when to install them. If you have updates pending, you should install all important and optional updates and then return to this area until it says no updates are available. Sometimes when you install updates, it invokes the need for other updates to be installed, and you will not know until you return to the Windows Update area to check. The next thing I recommend that everyone do is to go to malwarebytes.org and download and install the free version of their anti-malware software. When it installs, it will then update and you can let it scan your system. Let it scan. It will take a while. Do not do anything else on your computer while it's scanning. And when it's finished, allow it to remove anything that it finds on your computer that could be malware. You may want to look at the list just to make sure that you don't recognize anything that raises an eyebrow. But generally, anything that it finds that's malware, you need to let it remove it. The next thing everyone should have on their computer is a good antivirus protection program. I recommend AVG Anti-Virus for most users. You can either use the free version, or if you want to have a little bit better protection, you can pay for the commercial version as well. It is worth its weight in gold, so I do recommend that you pay for it. When you install the antivirus software, you will be given a choice of free or basic protection, or the trial version of the full version. If you're going to use the free version, just simply use the basic edition. During the installation, you want to pay close attention because sometimes there is a custom installation feature, and I usually unselect the install email protection because AVG has a known conflict with Microsoft Outlook, but also there are sometimes settings that installs the AVG toolbar and changes your default search engine to AVG. So I do not recommend using those, so uncheck those boxes if they are present under the custom installation. Always do the custom installation and read the screens before you continue. One of the things I do to enable Design Space to run better and perform better and be more stable is I use Design Space in a different browser than what I do most of my browsing in. The reason is because when you are running multiple tabs or multiple sessions of the same browser, those things cross in memory process and memory usage and CPU usage. So if you have open 5 or 6 tabs of Google Chrome and something on one of those tabs crashes on a website causing Google Chrome to crash, it causes all your sessions to go down, including the one you're using in Design Space. So to prevent that instability, I do most of my browsing in Google Chrome. I use it with Gmail and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And then for Design Space, I use it in Firefox. You could just as easy do it the opposite way and use Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Safari for most of your browsing, but use Design Space exclusively in Google Chrome to keep it isolated. Hopefully my video has been helpful to you. If it has been, please subscribe to my channel, and by all means, please share my videos.